Hi, I'm Caden, here with my brother,
Cal,
and you're listening to Eating W's.
eat the W.
That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W.
So, on today's episode of Eating W's, we have another weekly recap. Now, it was a little bit of a slow week, not a ton of news came out, just a few extensions and a couple of signings. So after this, Cal and I will each be giving one of our favorite Day 2 and Day 3 steals in the draft. So keep watching to see that at the end. But to start off, we have some news. So first of all, starting a little bit of sad news, Dwayne Haskins, the past Redskins first-round pick and current Steelers quarterback, actually died Saturday morning after getting hit by a dump truck. So very sudden and very crazy. But it's really sad to hear stuff like that because, he really had a chance this year to get a starting job and kind of get his career back on track after not starting it the way that you would hope.
Yeah, I thought he could at least be the backup, if not the starter, but that's really too bad. I heard he was a really great locker room guy.
I heard that too. Contagious smile is something I saw constantly.
A lot of players were, pretty hurt by that. Not that they wouldn't be, but just a lot more than I thought, a lot of the bigger ones.
Rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. That's really sad to see. So, moving on to some of the more NFL-based news now. We got the Bills extended wide receiver Stephon Diggs to a 4-year, $104 million deal. I know a little bit ago there was a little bit of trade rumors going on there in Buffalo, so I was really surprised.
Well, the way it was going, these receivers were asking for extensions, and then they were just getting traded.
I didn't think he would, and it proved me right. I didn't think he would get traded, and now he got extended. So, and then in another really good extension for the Texans, and just another really good move all around for the Texans. I'll say it every week if I need to. Keep an eye out on the Texans.
2025, right?
Exactly, yeah. After all that draft capital gets used up, they'll be the 2025 Super Bowl champs. But for now, this week, the Texans and Brandon Cooks, wide receiver, agreed to a 2-year, $40 million extension. So he also gets some money. And then finally, the Baltimore Ravens re-signed or kind of retained Calais Campbell on a 2-year, $12.5 million deal. So good extensions there. No big-time cuts or trades this week, but there was 2 reasonably big signings. Starting off, the Atlanta Falcons signed tight end Anthony Firkser, who was on the Titans last year and did pretty well for them. And the Chargers signed linebacker Troy Reeder, who was on the Super Bowl winning LA Rams last year. And I really like that signing for them.
Both players, I'm surprised, were not re-signed by their teams. I thought they would be.
Firkser I can kind of see. He's a more middle-of-the-road guy, but I thought Troy Reeder really stepped up and played a big role in that defense last year. And he's probably just more a cap casualty than anything, them not re-signing him. But great pickup by the Chargers. I think
another great pickup by the Chargers.
Yeah, that defense is going to be brand new next season, to say the least. So now we're going to jump into some guys who are going to get picked up after the first round of the draft who we both think can still make a big difference on their team. So starting with our Day 2 steal predictions, Day 2 being, of course, Round 2 and Round 3 of the NFL Draft. I'll start off, and I have running back Kenneth Walker III out of Michigan State. Now, I've talked about this guy a few times. He is by far my top running back on the board. I think he is the most true running back on here. He's not a receiving back. He's not one of those guys who are going to come out of the backfield and catch the ball. He's going to take the workload, and he's going to be a bruiser. He's a great one-cut back. He's able to find a hole and hit it fast, so that's always a good trait to have as a running back. And I think a lot of people have him more as like a early to mid round 2, maybe even slipping into round 3. I actually had him as a first-round guy in my original mock draft. Sadly, I don't think that's going to happen just because there's no overly running back needy teams, and the teams who might go running back are most likely going to be looking for a more receiving back, such as the Bills with Breece Hall. So he'll probably make it to round 2, but I think wherever Walker gets taken in round 2, he is going to be an absolute steal for that team.
He'll be a workhorse somewhere. He could be a bell cow.
Certainly. He has the ability to take a ton of carries. I think he had the second or third highest carries out of any of the main running backs this year. So it's really good to see that. And his ability to kind of play with a mixed style. He can be a one-cut guy, and he can beat you with his speed and the quickness in his feet. but don't think he's going to shy away from the hit. He'll also lay a boom on you, and he can work on the goal line. And he didn't get a ton of opportunities coming out of the backfield to catch the ball, but when he did, he usually excelled in that when he did.
I remember he was an early Heisman favorite after a little bit.
Yeah, he started the season off very well, so keep an eye on Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, so, and then my guy is George Pickens, the wide receiver out of Georgia. Now, he kind of had bad timing because he tore his ACL in the spring game last year, but he led Georgia in receiving yards the last 3 years. So, I'm sure if he had put up similar numbers like he would have this year, he'd be right up there with the top guys. But because of his injury, he only played in 4 games, and that was including the playoffs. So, he only had like 100 and some yards receiving, so he didn't get to show a whole lot this year.
But coming off of injury and only playing 4 games and still getting 100 and change?
Mm-hmm. Well, it was half of it was on that 52-yard catch in the college football title game.
Oh, I forgot that he had
that.
So he showed up and still made big plays.
Late,
yeah.
That was that 4th game, so he was starting to show his flash already. So I think he'll be a great pickup for someone in the 2nd round, which seems to be because of that ACL is where he's fallen to.
Yep. Something I really like about George Pickens is he seems to be, I talked about it last week with Alan Lazard, that I respect the hell out of blocking wide receivers, and he's a big guy and he's willing to block and he does it well. Because that Georgia team, nothing against their quarterback, can't remember his name, but that was by no means a passing offense. They focused on running the ball, so he got most of his work blocking. And
we had those Ohio State receivers going to the Packers. I could see Pickens going to the Packers.
I think if
you guys
could get him with a round 2 pick though, and at that point, if you guys get him with one of your round 2 picks, and it is an absolute steal.
Oh man, I don't know if he'll last till 52.
He might not go all the way there.
He might have to go at 28. I don't know.
Yep. So now moving on to our day 3 steals. Day 3 is of course the rest of the draft, rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. And for my day 3 steal, I decided that the running backs this year just were not getting enough love. I mean, no first round running backs. Everyone's going to be day 2, day 3. So I decided to move from Michigan State to the University of Michigan. And my day 3 steal is Hassan Haskins, running back for the Michigan Wolverines. And now, just like I was talking about with Georgia's offense, they were by no means a passing offense. Their offense in Michigan ran through Hassan Haskins. I looked it up the other day, and he had the most carries out of all of the main running backs. It wasn't by a ton. It was only by 20, 30 carries, I think. But still, he can say he had the most carries out of all running backs. And another thing he did the best out of all running backs was on the bench press in the NFL Combine. He didn't do any of the other testing, and I don't think he did a ton of drills. But he showed up and rocked the bench press, hitting 27 reps, which was not only by far the highest for the running backs. I want to say it was either 3rd or 4th best overall out of everybody. I mean, the guy who had the most was Zion Johnson with 32, the guard out of Boston College. So he only had 5 less than the strongest guy there, which is just insane.
It's a big offensive lineman.
This guy is a goal line beast. He will get you in the end zone when whoever takes him in the NFL. He might not be a 3-down back. He might only be first down back, maybe goal line guy, power back. He's not really going to come out of the backfield. I don't think he has the greatest skills, and he never did it. He has no real experience doing it there in Michigan. But man, it is fun to watch him run. He is punishing. He does not shy away from the hit no matter what level it's at. It doesn't matter if you're a safety coming down from the top on him or if you're a D-line meeting him at the line of scrimmage. He'll lay a lick on you, and I really love to see that from a runner. And I think that if he gets in the right program and can kind of develop well and gets a good coach, he could kind of develop into a 3-down back and really be a centerpiece in an offense here in a few years.
Yeah, once he gets that NFL conditioning. And you know who else led the NCAA in carries and then had their draft stock fall? A.J. Dillon.
Ooh,
so
that's interesting.
And a similar build. He's kind of that power back
he's another power guy.
Yeah.
I like that.
But
he can do what A.J. Dillon does.
He led the NCAA at Boston College for, I think, for sure his senior year, like Hassan Reddick. So, and he fell to the 2nd round, which was again a people thought a reach at the time.
Yeah.
So
A lot of projections I've seen on this guy is late 5th into early 6th, or sorry, let me scratch that. Late 4th into early 5th, but I could maybe even see this guy slipping into day 2, just depending on if teams really like him.
yeah. So for my day 3 guy, I'm looking at Jake Ferguson, the tight end out of Wisconsin. I mean, he was basically their centerpiece for their passing game. He has great hands and a pretty good route runner. His knack on him is he's not the greatest athlete, which not all the tight ends are, have to be superstar athletes,
No.
but just being that focal point in the passing game and, teams knowing it and him still being able to produce, he led the Big Ten in tight end receiving yards. So, and then, he's okay as a blocker, but it's kind of inconsistent, and I think that's why he's fallen. I've seen some where he's fallen to the 6th round, but I've seen also in the 4th and 5th. So, but I think he'll be a solid player, at least a backup tight end with possible starting potential.
Yeah. I haven't really looked into Jake Ferguson much until Callum just brought him up, so I'll have to look into him. But that really surprises me he's not a better blocker coming from the Big Ten.
I know, and Wisconsin, they're
Midwest
right out there
Big
with
Ten
Iowa.
is offensive lineman central,
Yeah.
and usually you can get really good blocking tight ends. I mean,
He's all right. He's just inconsistent with it. And,
Yeah.
that seems to be his knack or his knock on him. So.
but I guess maybe when you're the main receiving threat in the offense,
Right,
you don't really
well,
get your chance to develop yourself
That's
as
true.
a tight
Yeah,
end. You gotta worry
being
about
the main receiving.
You got to worry
threat,
about pretty much being a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So
maybe get some NFL coaching in there, a little more balance too, and he'll be a hell of a steal.
Interesting. Okay, well that will be our episode for this week. I know it's a little bit shorter than usual, but
Yeah,
we just
kind
wanted
of
to
a
get one
shorter
out.
week.
Wasn't a bunch of news, so it's really gonna start picking up here soon.
We're on the lull right now, and it's gonna peak here right at the end of April.
Certainly. Next week we'll have our weekly recap, and we'll probably do an extra episode next week just about maybe some other steals that we'd like to talk about, or just something with the draft. We'll do an extra episode to give you a little more prep, and then the week after that will be the week of the NFL draft, and Cal and I will each have a final mock draft, and we'll probably even do another update that week. Maybe we'll see, but we will.
Depends on the news.
Yep, we will for sure each have one more mock draft, and we'll probably both put them out that week. I don't know if I'll put them both out Wednesday night, Thursday morning, but keep an eye here on Eating W's because it's going to be
doing the
an
first
exciting
round live?
few weeks. I don't know if we'll do it live. We are certainly going to get live reactions. We'll have to see if I can figure out how to set it up live. I'll play with that.
All right.
But it will be live reactions. It might be live reactions, and then I'll edit them, put them together, and put out a produced video. Which, because we did that last year, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But if I can get it figured out, and we can
do the
get a good
podcast
system.
then.
Yeah, and if I can get it figured out, and we can get a good system going with that, it might be live. We'll see. But
That'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
That'd be pretty cool.
But either way, definitely keep tuning in here to Eating W's, and until next time, don't forget
To eat the W.